What's up, Guardians? The season of the Worthy is right around the corner. We have about less than a week to go. And that means that Trials is right around the corner, which is super exciting. However, today we're not going to focus on that at all. Everyone's making videos about Trials of Osiris returning. And the excitement within the community is at like a super high, especially after the artifact changes we know about that are going to make it so that grinding lost sectors isn't the best way to prepare for Trials. However, today we're going to talk about the other major change coming with Season of the Worthy, and that's the PvE meta changes. Ever since Season of the Undying and Shadowkeep about 6 months ago now, the PvE meta has remained largely the same, with a few tweaks here and there, but essentially it's an energy weapon in an energy primary weapon, and then Izanagi's Burden, and then any heavy you want, or it's any primary kinetic weapon, divinity, and any heavy weapon you want. However, with the changes coming with Season of the Worthy, Izanagi's is receiving a direct nerf, which is going to make it harder for you to kill barrier champions, particularly because you will no longer have the fast outlaw reload. And then, more importantly, overall, all sniper rifles are receiving a PvE damage nerf, because right now Bungie feels that snipers provide too much damage while also putting players in too safe a position in PvE. So today I want to talk to you about the loadout that I think is going to be run in PvE, and it's because it was run at the beginning of Season of Opulence way back in the day. So, right now, the weapon that I mainly want to focus on is Loaded Question. So, you may be wondering, what's that? Especially if you came with Shadowkeep and with the free-to-play. It's a pinnacle fusion rifle where from Season 2, or from Year 2, so that means that it has its own unique perk. Unlike our ritual weapons, it has its own unique perk special to Loaded Question, and that is Reservoir Burst. Reservoir Burst is its unique perk, where if you have a full magazine and you shoot the fusion rifle, it does bonus damage and has its own unique Firefly effect to ads around it. So essentially, if you kill an ad, it'll blow up and do damage to enemies around it. And then, because it only works for that first shot, the other perk is auto-loading holster. So when you put the gun away, after a short period of time, it reloads the gun. So, in my opinion, one of the new meta loadouts that could be coming, especially if the artifacts work out in our favor, is a Breachlight plus Loaded Question plus Anarchy or any other heavy weapon that you have that can do a majority of your DPS. So, the reason for Breachlight, A, is because recently we've seen in Season of Dawn there was a sidearm buff to PvE damage and things like that, as well as it made targeting and range a little bit easier to hit at enemies at range. So, and then all of a sudden, sidearms became super meta. You saw streamers chasing after multi-kill clip Last Hopes. Breachlight has become one of the meta PvE, or one of the best PvP sidearms in the game. And in PvE, it gets some really good rolls like Outlaw Multi-Kill Clip or Outlaw Rampage. So it's overall a really, really good sidearm that a lot of YouTubers have been recommending to farm for. The one in the background gameplay right now you see is running Outlaw Rampage and Rampage Spec. And then we have Loaded Question with a major extra damage mod thing, which gives me 7% extra damage to majors, and then a major spec. And then we're running Anarchy in this video, and I think that people are going to move over to like 1K Voices and Anarchy for some of their primary DPS because of the way snipers are going to be nerfed. I think that this could end up becoming a really strong loadout, and one of the reasons I think this is the case is because if we go back to the Season of Opulence release, one of the best weapons to use at the time was, for boss damage, was Outbreak Perfected. So you got a whole 16 ready to shoot Outbreak Perfected at the boss. And then for your ad clearing, for the witches, you would people would recommend something like Loaded Question, because it deals with witches, it deals with shielded enemies really well, it deals with the ogre, and it reloads itself, so you can whip it out really quick, do a lot of damage, put it away, and then go back to using your other weapons. You could do things like using it, shooting 2 anarchies, swapping back to it, using it again, shooting 2 anarchies. It just pairs well with what weapons should be coming in the future for bonus damage, and it didn't really work with something like Izanagi's Burden or any other legendary sniper, because it's not a primary weapon. So I think Loaded Question could see a ton of play in the new season, and I really recommend getting yours in time for Season of the Worthy, because I think it's going to be a really solid option for dealing with things like majors or even doing some boss damage. Now, the one place it does struggle is in boss damage, because after you shoot that initial burst, the rest of the bullets in the magazine are just regular fusion rifle shots, and fusion rifles right now don't do a ton of damage to bosses, so you may not end up using it as your primary boss damage weapon, and that's where things like 1000 Voices comes in, possibly Whisper of the Worm. I'm not exactly sure how it's affected by the sniper rifle changes, but if it's damaged a lot by it, then maybe probably not Whisper of the Worm. But things like Anarchy, things like machine gun, grenade launchers, and even possibly something like a 1000 Voices could become really, really powerful weapons in the next sandbox if sniper rifles are hit as hard as we think they're going to be hit. But I recommend something like Loaded Question, because unlike a shotgun, you aren't going to get right up next to a barrier champion for your main damage, and risk getting like meleeed, and in a case where you're running Blackout, getting one shot, where a shotgun really struggles with something like that. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys think about the new PvE meta, because along with a new PvE activity, we're also getting Grandmaster Nightfall difficulty in the next season. So this season coming up isn't going to be all about Trials of Osiris. I know that's a really exciting part of the community and something everyone's really excited for, but we're getting some PvE changes that are going to be really fun to play with, and the PvE meta is going to shift dramatically. Maybe Outbreak Perfected becomes a really solid weapon to use, and in that case, pairing it with something like Loaded Question is a really smart idea. So, hope you guys enjoyed this discussion, and I will see you in another video. Bye.